Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we're going to take a look at the winners part 2 of the Golden Week celebration. So for those who don't know, traditionally this is the Golden Week celebration. It is a joint celebration between JP and Global, and to be honest with you, obviously part 1 this year started on the 26th. So part 1 started on the 26th of April. Last year it started on the 28th. Obviously big thing, always like keeping the same trends. So that's how we predicted it would start on the 26th, is because last year started on the 28th of April. And the same thing. So last year, if we take a look, it started on the 28th, and then on the 15th, which was the Monday, it basically started part 2. And if we take a look at April of this year, we can see a similar trend, whereby on the 13th of May we will see part 2 of the celebration. So that will be when part 2 starts. So not next week, but Monday of the week after. Now obviously people will say, well, that leaves a bit of a gap. And there is still content coming next week with the Extreme Legendary campaign. For the Prime Battle, there's a couple of SBRs and ESBRs. There is also Goku Day as well, so keep that in mind. Next week is Goku Day, Goku Gohan and Goten Day, and that also provides some content as well. So there's definitely enough to keep us going till the 13th. You just have to wait for it to come, basically. Now, of course, we do not only know when part 2 is going to start, being the 13th, but we actually have some little sneak peeks as to what's going to become available when it does start. And I'm going to issue a bit of a spoiler warning now, because I don't want people to, think that I've ruined anything or, like not giving them a heads up. But from this point onwards, I will be discussing some units that were data mined. I'm sure plenty of people who are in the community know what's happening, so it's not really something that I think should be too much of an issue. But yes, basically, to cut a long story short, there is definitely some interesting content coming with part 2. We have data mined the Tech Ultimate Gohan EZA. So Ultimate Gohan, the Tech Mystic Gohan, he is going to be receiving his Extreme Z Awakening. We then also have the Tech Goku LR's Awakening as well. So there has been a Tech Goku. Obviously we've known for a while that Tech Goku, the free-to-play one, would become a LR, so his awakening is also coming. And then we know, based on last year with Strength Bulma, that there's going to be an LR for part 2, or very likely to be an LR for part 2. Now there might be, the things that aren't data mined, there might be potentially a EZA as well, and we'll talk about that in a little bit just now. But like I said, Mystic Gohan and the Goku's LR Awakening are all already data mined. So the only two things we can consider is whether there will be a EZA for an LR, and whether there will be an additional EZA for an LR. Now there wasn't last year, and with Mystic Gohan's EZA, it makes me doubt that there will be an LR EZA, at least right off the bat, because although they don't, they can always add in an LR EZA, it is something that could potentially not happen. But it's going to depend on the LR, I think, that they provide for part 2. Now, I will say the only unit I think will get an LR EZA, if there is one, is Physical Super Saiyan 2 Vegeta Angel. Just makes perfect sense to EZA him. Now, who the part 2 LR will be is going to be very interesting. I think potentially it could be finally Kid Buu. Would be very interesting to finally get Kid Buu as an LR, Buu Saga related, of course. The final piece for the Martian Power team as well would probably be a 200% lead or a Carnival LR, potentially, would be interesting. Or alternatively is a yellow coin unit, which would be 150% lead, which is also okay. The Kid Buu LR would solve pretty much everything finally to solve the Martian Power team for good, and so it could be very interesting. There's also plenty of animations actually used for him, which helps out a lot. The only other potential LR option I see actually is Ultimate Gohan himself. I think it could be super interesting to get an LR Ultimate Gohan, and the EZA for Mystic Gohan shows that it could happen.